So in my area, the power is out in quite a lot of areas in Cape Town, and this this load shedding thing looks like it's gonna continue for a little while. So I want to start something. I want to see if other people are going to get involved. This would be amazing. I'm actually going to ask other people to do this. I am going to pour myself a glass of wine, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time telling just a story over candlelight because I want to harken back to the time when we used to do that. And now that we don't have power, this way we can spend all of our data because we don't have data problems in South Africa, and we clearly have electricity problems. So this is a solve to one of those things, but then also going to further the other problem. But I thought it'd be really fun, and if other people want to get involved, literally like just light a candle and tell a story. Let me pour some wine quickly, and then we'll get into a little story. So now the problem is that I kind of need to make up a story on the spot, but I've got my wine, so let me have a sip and then maybe I'll get some creative juices flowing, you know? So a young man by the name of Stephen moves into a complex flat situation thing, and it's his new. He's like going to start his first full-time job and everything. So he's keen and he's ready, but he moves into his own flat for the first time. But one of the things that he really wants to commit to is gymming. And making sure that he trains because he wants to commit to his mental health and everything. You know, he wants to be physically fit, help his brain, like body helps the mind, all of that. So he goes to the gym. He decides to go at 7 every day. So he goes. His first day, he sees there's two guys who you can tell are good friends. They're training together, and they look pretty fit, but friends, so they're comfortable. Um, and then there's another guy, huge guy, just massive guy. And you can tell he's outgrown his shirts. It's like he's wearing his, when someone goes to the gym and they're in the university shirt, and you're like, you're not in university anymore. You've outgrown the varsity, and you've outgrown that shirt. Why are you still wearing it? And you can smell the testosterone. It's a lot. And he's like, my brother. Yeah. So yeah. So there's those. That's the three people, and then there's just the gym trainer. He just hangs out. He helps out, plays the music or whatever. So cool. Goes to the gym at 7 every day. And he just keeps going for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then the one day he's like, oh, I'm not really feeling it, but he decides to go anyways. He ends up going 5 minutes late because he was like really tired, and when you've got to like fight to get up, so it takes him 5 minutes to do that. So he ends up getting to gym 7:10, and then he sees everyone just outside, and he'd known them a little bit, so he can talk to them. But yeah, everyone's just standing outside, and he's like, what's going on? So he decides to try and find out. Yeah, so Stephen walks up to his fellow like gym companions that he's been gymming with now for 3 weeks. So they kind of know each other, they know each other's names and stuff. So he walks up to the one guy, Sipo. He's like, Sipo, what happened? And then Sipo just looks at him, doesn't say anything, and just points. And Stephen looks left, and there's just a body lying on the treadmill. And like Stephen doesn't really know what to do with this. Like he's shocked. He doesn't. What would you do with that? So then he's like, guys, what happened? And then the big guy's name's Alroy. He's just like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I've got to go. So he just runs around the corner and then proceeds to just throw up, which is what I would do. And he's just like, guys, I don't, yeah. And like, they're all a bit shocked because Alroy's like big and you're expecting some things. And he's just like, he's not handling the situation well. And then there's another guy, Lutando. He's there. He's friends with Sipo, who like they train together every day. He's there and he's just like, bro, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what to do, whatever. And then the trainer comes up and he's like, hey guys, do any of you guys know who this is? Have you met her before? Have you trained with her? And they're all like, ooh, but you've been here, so surely you should know who that is. And he was just like, yeah, I don't. I just kind of sit here, interact. I got in late today, and the body was there. So we're just waiting for the police. It was, I mean, South Africa. So the police came a while after. They actually just got there, like just after Stephen was there. So the police are there. They take everyone's statements, and they figure it out. Turns out Alroy was there the night before, but at 5:30. And he was like, no, this girl wasn't there. I've seen her before, but she wasn't there last night when I was there at 5:30. And yeah, so they're like, okay, that's cool. The best thing you guys can do, we're going to be launching a full investigation. The best thing you guys can do is go home and just rest and figure out what's happened and what's taken place. So cool. They all go home. They're just like, cool, we're going to figure this out. So naturally, on the first day, none of them go to work. They're all just pretty much bedridden because, like, how do you even handle that situation? Like, it's rough. It's tough. But yeah, so that day, they all pretty much take it off. Then a couple of days pass. They start going to work. They start like, okay, life is happening. But Stephen picks up. He's not comfortable. Something's off, and he's not happy. So he thinks, you know what? One of those three guys, one of them, killed this girl, and I'm certain it was Alroy, Sipho, Lutando. I'm convinced. So he thinks, let me trick them into coming to what I'm going to call like therapy, or where we can talk about what we've seen and handle our PTSD of having seen a dead body in our gym. So cool. He messages them. He's like, hey guys, next week Wednesday, let's meet up. Let's chat about what we've seen. Because like it was hectic and all of this stuff. So he convinces the guys to come, right? And he's like, in his head, he's thinking South African police are never going to work this out. They're going to have no idea who committed this murder. But I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to sort that out. I'm going to take whoever did this, and I'm going to end up getting them arrested. And naturally, he thinks it's one of the three culprits who's there, right? Because who else would it be? So he invites them. The next week, Wednesday, first person to show up is Lutando. He comes in, he's like, hey man, thanks so much for organizing this. I'm really struggling. This hit me quite hard. I brought back memories of something I've experienced before, and it's been tough. So he comes in. Sipho is now like, okay, Sipho's got a bit more, he doesn't really trust Stephen. He's like, I don't know about this guy. He suspects Stephen. And he's like, okay, I'm here because I want to find out who did it. And I think it was probably Stephen. He's new to this environment. He's a lone wolf. He seems to do stuff alone. And in Sipho's head, he's like, I've chatted to Alroy before. Like, I knew he was squeamish. Alroy's fine. Stephen, though, I don't trust him. He's been here for too short. Cool. So they arrive. They're like, cool. They pour a little bit of red wine. So Stephen's like, hey guys, do you want some red wine? I've got a little bit of Shiraz here. It's a blend, but predominantly Shiraz. And Lutando's immediately like, I love Shiraz. And then Stephen's like, wait, you really? I love it. It's my favorite wine. And they're both like, yeah, it's my favorite. And then over that moment, they're just like, wow. And he just goes and he pours them some Shiraz, and he's like, awesome, now they're enjoying it. Steven's still suspecting, but he's like, okay, the man likes Shiraz, so we can maybe talk, But Sipho's like, you know what, I'm okay, I'm not gonna have that Shiraz. And then they're talking, and then they're like, hey, did you get a hold of Alroy? And Stephen's like, no, Alroy said he can't make it. He said he honestly can't handle talking about it right now. So the evening goes on, they're drinking their Shiraz, they're having a good evening. And then it goes on, and then they just hear a loud knock at the door. And then they're like, oh, crap. Okay. There was a dead body, now someone's knocking at the door. We're going to have to deal with this. Cool. Then Sipho's like, you know what? I'm going to get it, guys. I'm going to get it. Cool. He gets up, and it seems like, wait. Let's just get some weapons or whatever. So he's like, I got a baseball bat and a cricket bat in my room. Will that help? And they're like, yeah, that's helpful. So he gets baseball bat, gets the cricket ball bat. They like creep up, you know, when there's like an entrance to a door, right? So they creep up and they're just like, cool, creeping behind. And then Sipo's like, okay, guys, I'm gonna open it. And they're like, cool. And then Sipo opens it. As he opens it, you just Stephen and Lutando holding there with the bats, and then in rocks Elroy. He just runs in. He's like, hey guys. And he just comes in. He's like, guys, I'm so sorry to knock on your door like that. I'm really sorry, but I just saw something. Guys, something happened. And then there's just blood gashing down his face, just flowing, just going. And they're like, okay, guys, what happened? And then they go, cool. What happened, Elroy? It turns out he was busy cooking, and every meal, Elroy loves his chilies, right? So every dinner he just puts a little bit of chili in there. He just loves it. So he's cooking some chicken and broccoli, but then gonna spice in some chili, yeah? And so he goes and he looks in it, and then he's like, I reached down to check for my chili, right? But there was no chili there. But it was weird because I'd gone grocery shopping the day before, so I didn't know why there was no chili. But anyways, I was like, okay, I really feel like chili tonight, so I'm going to go buy. So as he had opened his door, an axe had flung down, but he heard like snap. So then it flung down, and as it did that, he just ducked. So it just caught his head, just here. And then he was just like, he like got clipped, and then he was like, okay, I'm going to this other guy's going to see what happens. And he just goes to them and ends up at their door, right? So now they're all like, okay, what are we going to do? Because now someone's out here trying to attack us, and there's a dead woman that we're dealing with. So, yeah, now things are intense, right? Sure. So they're just like, okay, what do we do? And they're just like, Steven's like, okay, guys. He still suspects everyone, because he's like, yeah, they were here, but they could have set up that trap before they came. And he's like, I still need to figure out. He's like, Elroy, I think you're fine, but I'm still watching you, but I think you're fine. So like, okay, cool. And he's like, Steven's like, let's all stay here tonight so that nothing else can happen to any of us. Because he also thinks if the murderer is within them, they're going to try something tonight, right? So he's like, okay, cool. So, cool, they all stay there that night, and then they hear, in the middle of the night, they just hear something, and then just like this wind, and then banging again, just, and it's like, okay, what's gonna happen now? And then it wakes all of them up, but the first one to say anything is just like, it's Lutando, right? He goes, Sipo, you're up, dude. So he was like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, I don't know, but I hear something. And Steven's like, yeah, me too, guys. And then I was like, oh, guys, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm like, obviously I should have mentioned they bandaged Elroy up, like sorted him out. Like he was fine, but he was still a bit in shock, you know. It's like, guys, I can't handle this. So they get up. So they get the bats again, right? We get the baseball bat and the cricket bat, and then Steven's like, I've got a skateboard and a golf club. Can that help? And Aura's like, I'll take the skateboard. Steven's like, give me a golf club. Cool. So they get it, and then they just hear that sound. It's on the glass window, right? It's like a sliding glass door. So they're just like, okay, cool. They walk up to the door again. All of them crouching, you know, like they did before. They're crouching, and then they get to the window, and then they're just like, okay, guys, we got to do this. Cool, just open it, and we run out and we see what this thing is. We find out and we get it, because if it's the murderer, we're gonna get him. Cool. Open it, and then they just hear flapping, and then it's just a pigeon just flies in, and it's just like, oh crap, okay. Whew. So it's just a pigeon. It's okay. And then they all laugh it off a little bit, and they're like, okay, cool. But now they're done. They're not going to go back to sleep. But then they're like, cool, just chilling. And then Steven's like, I should check the front door. So he goes and checks the front door. And then there's just a sign in front of the front door. And he's like, there's just a sign that says, I'm coming for you guys. And now Stephen's like, they were all here. All of them were here. Like, how is this possible? How they're all here? I don't understand. And then they're just like, okay, guys, this is terrifying, but okay, whatever. Let's find out. We've got to find out who this is. So they're all there, and they're not like, cool, guys, we've got to work together to find out who this is. Sipo's still skeptical because he's like, Stephen could have done all of this. He could have put this all in place. Everything could have been his doing, and he's new. He doesn't trust him. So cool. The next day they're like, cool, we're gonna go to the gym. We're gonna look around for any clues, and we're gonna see what happens. So cool. They wake up the next day. They slept. You know that like they didn't really sleep, but they tried, and so they're all just exhausted. So like, let's go. First stop. Let's go to the gym. Let's see what happens. All four of them. They keep their weapons on them and go to the gym. Cool. They're there. They're like, cool. Let's see the vibe. There's still a bit of blood. It's awkward. Alroy goes. He throws up again. You know Alroy by now. And then they just see another sign like far in the gym, and they walk in, and then he just goes, and then they're like, we see that sign, because we need to find out what that sign says. But as they look, they just see booby traps throughout the gym, right? And they're just like, that sign's probably going to help us, or not. Like, we can get that sign, or we can just give up. But we can get through these booby traps or not. And Lutando's like, guys, I've been doing a lot of flexibility training. I think I can get through this thing. So he's like, grand, let's see if I can do it. Cool. So Lutando thinks, I'm going to do this, right? So he goes, he's got to get through kind of like the weight section first, and then it's the cardio section, and then there's the wall by the sign. So he's like, cool, these weights are going to come swinging and whatever. And then as he's about to start, he's like, cool, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to jump over this, jump over that, go, do this and that. And they just hear a bang, just bah! And they're just like, wait, what? And then they just see, all of a sudden, there's just an arrow in Lutando's leg. And then they all look up and they just see there was a booby trap. Just a bow and arrow, just set. And then Sipo's just like, guys, who the hell in 2019 has a bow and arrow and an axe? What is going on? It's like, what is happening? He was just like, God, what? He was freaking out. And then, like, before they know it, they just hear like sirens, just people pulling up. It's like, wait, what? And then the policemen like run in. They're just like, hey, you guys okay? They're like, no, not really. Lutando's got shot in the leg by an arrow. We're freaking out a little bit. And it's like, cool, don't worry, guys. We found the murderer. We've got the person who murdered the girl last week. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. Like, cool, let's just sort Lutando out, and then, cool, we'll fix him up. They fix Lutando out, they sort him out, and like, cool. So it turns out, right, how this all happened was, how they caught the murderer was the police were like just driving in. They were obviously monitoring the complex and whatever. And the night before, they had saw like some suspicious activity. Someone like let a pigeon loose. It was something weird. They were just like, they didn't know what had gone on, but they just heard like noises and weird. So like, okay, so they went to patrol it, but they didn't see anything. And then the next day, they saw someone walking away, like during the day. This was just before the whole like gym squad had gone to the gym to find out who was there. And they saw someone like run away from the gym quickly, and they're like, what's going on? So they go and check this guy, and they see him like opening his boot, and they look, and they see like a sword in the guy's boot. They're like, who has a sword in 2019? And then they were just like, cool, let's go check this guy out. And then they see like an axe with some blood on it, and they're just like, what is going on with this guy? And they're like, hey, who are you? And then the guy like looks up, he's like, oh, so, and it turns out the guy was the trainer who used to just sit there weirdly and look at everyone. And they're just like, oh, flip. So the police were like, no, this guy's guilty. They did a blood test. The blood turned out to be Elroy's. And then, yeah, so then they checked before, and then they like looked it up, and then there was a blood test with the stuff that was on the treadmill with the girl before, and yeah, it was the gym trainer. So now these guys are just like, what in the world? And then Steven's like, you know what, guys, we actually need to like hang out and talk about this and deal with this. So next week Wednesday, they get together, and then Lutando like arrives with Sipo. Elroy had been there a bit before. He was drinking a beer, just chilling, and then he arrives and he's just like, he says to Steven, he's like, hey Steven, you know what I got for us? I got us some Shiraz. And Steven's just like, yes, my dude. And then they were there just dealing with the anxiety. And yeah, they shared a little bit of a glass of Shiraz. And it was actually a beautiful picture. It was just like two black guys, a color guy and a white guy. We all kind of suspected each other. And then in the end, became really good friends through their kind of adversity and the extreme circumstances they found themselves within.